This is not.
Good evening and welcome to the Litchfield Recreation Commission meeting. Tonight, December 10th. We will start with a call to order. I've got member Mr. Jeff Town,
Present.
member Brunel,
Present.
Secretary Brennan,
Present.
member Weber,
Present.
member Ruggles,
Present.
and Representative Lynch. And I am the head chair, Chris Burns. We'll continue with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, we have one set of minutes to approve from our previous meeting, November 26th. Everybody have a chance to review those minutes? Any changes, edits, comments, concerns?
No.
No.
Motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
Second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
I'm abstaining, I wasn't there.
Opposed, abstained, passes. What do we got here tonight? 3, 6?
Do we have to vote
1, 2, 3, 4. You have 5, so
Justin and,
only if you choose to, because you have 5 still right now.
We have 5. We have a quorum.
5.
May as well vote if you're here.
1,
Yeah,
2, 3,
we
4.
Yeah.
I would like to not
We can
vote.
appoint them.
Yeah, I would like to make a motion to appoint Justin and Steve as voting members tonight.
A second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. All right.
Go for it.
So we will revote for those minutes and include your votes. All right, that motion passed 6-0-1. Next up, public input.
Is that me?
Are you here for public input or, no, you're under.
You're on the agenda.
but
On the agenda.
We can bring you up now because there is no public input and we'll get you out of here.
I'm up with him as part of it.
Okay.
Let's see if we can do this.
There we go. Okay, I am George Lavash, 13 Pearson Street, Litchfield. Also on the Conservation Commission. I was tasked with, or I chose to look up into some options for putting a dock into Dara. And I'll go through what I found for some research, and you guys can take a look at this. So here are the specifications of the docks that I'm looking at. It's going to be 30 feet long, which is the state limit, so we can't go over 30 feet. 6 foot wide if possible. I figure it's going to be like the major attraction down there. So with 6 feet wide, you could put multiple kids fishing off each side, or, someone could fish, someone could put a kayak in. So the wider, the better. The wider, the more expensive. I did get one quote at a 4 foot wide section just to show you what the differences could be. It's going to be removable, so we'll be able to take it in and out every year, and that way it won't be damaged by the ice, which is a good thing. And to facilitate that, I'm looking at docks that have a wheel kit. So either the very deepest set of legs or maybe the 2 deepest set of legs will have wheels on it so that you can just hook it up to the tractor and pull it out. It's pretty, that way it'll be very easy to do. Okay, we don't have to take the legs off or anything like that, so it should go pretty well. All the quotes have aluminum decking, that way we won't have to paint it, there'll be no rot, so no maintenance. And we're going to add a ramp so that we can have handicap access, wheelchair accessible, and that will make it better suited for all our residents and the grants. I looked into registering the dock with the state. Some people thought this was going to be a tough process. There's an online form. If you adhere to the certain guidelines, you don't even have to talk to someone. It's almost a rubber stamp. So the requirements are 30 feet or less, and it has to be perpendicular to the shore, which will be fine for us. The only sticking, I could have filled out the form myself and submitted it, except I need a copy of the deed. So I don't know if you guys have a copy of the deed. There's a copy somewhere in town that we can get, and I'm sure there's an electronic copy I can get. So, other than that, it looks pretty straightforward. All right, so I have gotten quotes from 3 dock companies, and all of these people are local. One company, FWM in Hudson, they are the lowest quote. So the total cost, now this is, I did not calculate a ramp cost, and a ramp would probably be like a 4-foot wide by 5-foot long, just a very gentle slope, just to get up to the height of whatever the dock is sitting on the ground, which is either 4 or 6 inches, depending upon which dock system we're looking at here. So for the 30-foot dock here, there's 3 10-foot sections for this one dock company. And if we did a 4-foot wide deck, so it goes from 7,600 down to 6,000, essentially $1,600 difference between the 4 and the 6. He initially quoted me the 4, and I said I asked for the 6, but I figured I'd throw the data point in there. So we go from 7,600 to 9,600 to almost 1,200. So there's quite the range. Now these are all top-notch, very good docks, sturdy, no maintenance, again with the wheel kit. We could build one out of pressure treated and get a wheel kit. It would be a little bit heavier, there'd be more maintenance, but this is probably best for a town system going with the aluminum. All right, so those, I think the town requires 3 quotes, so I got 3 quotes. I could probably go get more, and they'll probably fall somewhere in the middle, I'm guessing.
So are those bottom 2 more expensive because they're 32 feet?
One
Maybe,
of the same thing, because, I mean, you
So-
can't get a 30-foot length out of
Yeah.
216.
So I'm assuming it's 32 and 32 is probably what they quoted.
so, yes, those are 32s, and 2 feet have to sit on the shore. Do you know what I mean? So
Okay, so
you-
30, okay, so 30.
So they don't sell a 30-footer, right? So.
But the one above does. It's 30 feet worth, but you're only getting 28 feet of dock. And the other way, you're getting 30 feet of dock.
Well, no, so,
No, not
no, so
entirely.
we would have a 4-foot ramp or a 5-foot ramp, right? And so the 30-foot dock, would be the length that's in the water, and then the ramp would go right to it. With the 32-foot one, you must have 2 feet on shore.
Oh,
Because
they
you
do it,
can't
yeah.
exceed 30 feet into the water.
But I was just curious if it
Ratio
was,
is based on the distance within
Yeah.
the water.
Yes.
What happens
So-
after you exceed the 30 feet?
Right, and so I couldn't really get a 30-foot quote for these ones. They are 32. That's a good point, and could explain a little bit more of the cost. And I can look into seeing if there's other systems that have, exactly 30 feet, now that we have the.
but it's still cheaper per
per foot.
linear foot.
Yeah.
When you divide it out,
For the
it's still
FWM.
cheaper per linear foot.
Oh, is it? Okay.
So what happens after you exceed the 30, if you get a 32-foot dock and you put it in the water?
Well,
Well,
so,
32
I mean,
feet, what-
if the New Hampshire
Depends on the high
DES.
water, okay?
Well,
Do they measure at high water or low water?
I mean, DES isn't gonna come down there and
They're not gonna look at it.
measure your dock and say you're off by 6 inches or something like that, but it's just the guideline, and so we tried to adhere to it's a regulation, so we're trying to adhere to the regulation. Okay, so this is a pretty short, demonstration, but, so this is an example of the A and B dock. They sell Hewitts, so A and B, they're out of Merrimack, so this is sort of what it would look like. I don't know exactly what the length of this one was, I just went and cut this from their brochure online, okay? Hold on, I'll go back there, okay? So, now, there'd be a deep water kit, so those, in this example here, the wheels are at the same height as the shore, almost essentially. But in order to, we'll probably be around 8 feet where the end of the dock would be, and so those wheels would be on posts 8 feet down. And so this is FWM, and this is the type of decking that almost all of them quoted. It's perforated aluminum. So that lets the water go through and shouldn't be too bad with leaves and stuff. And again, this one here shows wheels on 2 out of the 2 of the sections, and it all depends on how deep it is and what type of soil we have, whether we'd have 1 or 2 sets of wheels. And again, this is just a look at what the Shoremaster deck looks like. Now, this one was the most expensive one. I don't know exactly quality level between the other ones, but this is just an example of, again, of the aluminum decking. It's got non-skid surface, so there you go. And then, I put this slide in here, somebody took this picture at the Fall Festival, right? And you can see all the kids are down there fishing and other people. So it gets surprising the amount of use with kids fishing down there, and so I think this would be a pretty good addition. And we could figure out where we're gonna put the dock, whether it's 2/3 to one side in the middle, or, what we wanted to do. So I think that's all I have on the dock.
So a couple meetings back, I'd asked for permission to research grants, to see if there's something that this type of dock, putting it in, would fit. And what I found was, I think the best suited is the Community Challenge Grant by AARP, under their Livable Communities program. A quick action grant, where we would have to apply for it. Starts mid-January, it opens up. It closes March. You find out in May, and then it must be constructed by, I believe, the beginning of December. They don't have other dates out yet, and by the end of December, we would have to do a follow-up report showing the whole project. Last year, they awarded 343 grants across the country for a total of $3.8 million, anywhere from $500 to $30,000 that different towns have applied for. I believe it was last year, I think 4 or 5 New Hampshire towns were selected. The year before, there were even more. There's criteria you have to meet, and the one we would fall under is their flagship grant, creating public spaces or places that improve open spaces and parks, and because it's in the park, and offering a range of mobility options with whatever you're creating, and the size of the deck, that all of them that George has looked at, would meet ADA requirements. Their philosophy of activities for all ages, the entire community, is also our mission statement aligns with that. Those words are right in our Recreation
The
Commission.
only thing with ADA though, I know it's come up because my company deals with this quite a
Yeah.
bit, is that, yeah, you have a ramp and a dock, but you're have to cross the sand beach to get there.
Yeah, so.
Like you would need to put some sort of accessible path all the way from the
What we probably
dock.
do in talking is we use the tractor to see what we can do ourselves and get whatever we need, hard pack or whatever.
Okay, to make some sort
yeah.
of a walking.
Or we can increase the cost of this. We wouldn't have to have that piece per se done by the time, when the dock is in, because right now it wouldn't be covering that. And I don't know anything about the costing of something like that and if that's gonna raise it up
And
to
it
like
is
$60,000, but,
They do make them, their rollouts. We see them at the beaches and public beach.
oh, yeah,
the
yeah,
mats.
you're right.
Unless we were to
The mats.
rototill
The
that
mats.
beach, that it's pretty hard packed, so I
Underneath.
think you could get a wheelchair across. Like for right now, well, not because it's frozen, but it's pretty hard packed.
Yeah,
So for it to become, inaccessible, you'd have to churn it up, I believe.
And they'll make it tough, but if you do run across it, the roll mat, you see them at the beaches all the time,
Yeah.
lakes and stuff like that. And they're using them instead of, putting a gravel or anything like that. At the sandy beach, more activity, you're gonna find it's got a good amount of sand in it, but it's really good. All the years that I've seen it really sandy.
so with the grant, they're also looking for some type of volunteer work being provided to, which we're all on commissions that are,
Yep.
Well,
are
do
doing
these
the work.
prices include installation, or that would be
No,
volunteers.
but they go together
Yeah.
really easily, so we'd be
So
able
we
to
would be
install it ourselves.
installing it ourselves.
And
there's
we
a
pull it in and out every year ourselves. I have a dock at my camp that's 30 feet that we pull in and out, and it's not on rollers, and we do it all the time, so it won't be that hard.
So you kind of get a jump in scoring if you are creating something that includes people over the age of 50 versus, let's say, we were putting in an instructional level basketball court or something. So they're really looking for things that can be used by the entire community and not just youth groups or, age groups. They would be looking at our execution, and innovation, so you'd get ratings on those two things by their board. But I think because this park is also along the bike path, which makes it walkable for people, bikeable for people, we do have paved parking lot, handicap spaces, kind of makes it ideal and meets their criteria. And I think the stuff being done with the milfoil to make it swimmable again is also going to be a plus to us, that we're working on those things. So that's what I came up with the grant, that I think would, that we have the best shot at getting with everything that George has and what it offers to the community. The issue right now is not so much like right now that we have to pick a dock, but we kind of have to commit whether we want to do this or not. The reason being, I can't even start the application until we go through the Board of Selectmen, because there's a new policy in place now that you can't just do, you have to go in front of the Board of Selectmen. So we're looking, right now we're through the holidays, we come January, 2 weeks into January, this is gonna open up. So I'm gonna wanna, it's not a one-night thing to work on. I'm gonna wanna take my time and do it correctly. So I think we have to, like I said, we don't have to pick something, but we have to decide if this is a project we wanna do and apply for the grant so we can bring it to the Board of Selectmen. If we don't get the grant, we got a plan in place if we ever wanna use impact fees or something else, we could look at something else, but I don't wanna, it's too much work to apply for 2 or 3 grants and do them all well and get everything in on time. So I tried to find something where we really fit.
So if we apply for the grant, do we want to apply for the higher value?
I would, and I'm because it's not open now and I can't open everything. I don't know how much they break it down, but I would say we know we're gonna need some kind of ramp instead of just a step up, so it might be a little
Yeah,
more
so
money.
once I found out we needed the ramp, I contacted all of the vendors, and I haven't heard back yet, but I will get prices to include ramps. And I can, like I said, there may be 1 or 2 more dock companies that I could take a look at.
Yeah, so, I mean, I would definitely go for a higher number, given the ramp. There's, if we want to add the mat or anything like that for ADA compliance, there's probably going to need to be some signage down there, rules, regulations,
Exactly.
that
Yeah.
type of thing.
So their average grant last year ended up being $11,900. So that's
your
last
numbers
year.
may
We'll
Cover
be-
all of it.
Yeah,
We're right
we're in the wheelhouse.
in there. We're not asking for anything extravagant. We're gonna be putting it together ourselves, doing, so you got your volunteers right there. I think we have a good shot
Do we have
at
to
it.
show we're in progress to go for the grant, or
No, we'll have to have, our quotes, our estimates.
Quotes.
okay,
Yeah.
just quotes?
And then the rest is gonna be a bunch of questions on how does this project meet our mission statement and their mission statement.
So we could take a picture of a grandfather and a grandson fishing down there, so we could show multi-generational.
I'll
Yeah,
have my
I
dad
had-
come down
I
and use
had
that
a
picture
picture
of my
of
son.
that picture. I think I took that picture.
And somebody in the
that you
wheelchair.
had.
Just that up there.
Yeah, I have that picture. I think I took it at Fall Fest.
Yeah, oh, that was you? Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Should have asked you for it.
Yeah, so, so we have to get to the Board of Selectmen as soon as we can in January
Have we
to
looked
get them
in,
to approve it.
have we looked into any, added insurance costs or regulations that this would require?
No, I don't,
That's one of the questions that's gonna come up.
Yeah, we'd have to ask the TA to go to Primex and ask.
Yeah, it's worth having that conversation with Primex to see what that might entail.
okay. But that would come through someone in the town.
I don't think that would hold us up from chasing the
That'll
grant.
come to the
Right,
administrator.
and I
Yeah,
think
I think-
because we're not charging for access to it, it's free to access, sort of like
Accessibility is all it is.
right. So I don't know if we would actually be liable, just like the sledding accident at Max Apple Orchard
Yeah.
a few years ago.
And we did, when we did the river access, that didn't increase our insurance,
Increase
right?
it.
That's just a
When we expanded,
provided service for,
when we expanded Justin Bissett, that didn't impact us either.
right.
But I don't
But
think
it's-
we're supposed to contact Primex
No, I'm not saying
ourselves.
us.
No,
We
no,
can-
no,
We
no,
can go
have
through the proper
Ms. Klein
channels,
do it.
but I think it's a good idea just to look into
Yeah.
it. And I don't think it'll hold us up from chasing the grant. It's just something to bring up.
So should we make a motion to, further, I'd like to make a motion to further investigate and, well, actually to approve, to give Rex approval for the dock project
To pursue the grant for the
Proceed.
dock.
and pursue the grant, yeah.
I will second.
Any other conversation?
Do we want to put a dollar number on it at this point, or?
Well, all we're doing is,
Sufficient.
all we're doing is approving the grant application, so I don't think that necessarily has a dollar amount
Based
attached
off
to it
the
right now,
numbers,
right?
you can take
Right, I'll have to show proof
a quote somewhere.
with quotes
Yeah,
and
you can put-
everything, so I would say
Okay.
whatever it comes out to, that's what,
You got
What's the
three
time
good
frame?
quotes now. They may be
timeframe, I'm sorry.
If we get the grant approved, what's the time frame?
So we'll find out mid-May, and it has to be completed by, mid-December. I'm going by last year's, because they don't have this year's dates.
Doesn't
It
seem
always
like a
opens-
tall order though to complete all that stuff.
No, it's
No,
supposed to
it
be a quick
doesn't.
action, not something that's taking you, and there's
I'd be more
certain
concerned
things
if
that you
they
can't,
said-
you know, you can't build a building, you can't, I don't
When's your
think you can
next
buy a
meeting, the 23rd?
vehicle.
Yeah, I'd be more concerned if they said that it's, you know, they'll give you approval in May and it needs to be installed by
June.
No, and by the end of the year, George and I would have to submit a, like a final letter,
And
showing it's
install
done.
will be very quick, and
Do they have the docks in
Yeah,
stock?
what's the lead time of the docks
I
sections?
I didn't ask, but I don't think it's that long.
Okay,
Okay. That's just something to consider, obviously.
because if it's 8 months, right, it's gonna quickly chew up the end of the year time.
Yeah, I would assume.
Would at any point we'd have to set aside money to buy it and they'd reimburse us? Like, would this be a grant that reimburses us after the fact, so would we have to pay
That I
upfront?
don't know, because it's not,
Because if we have to submit something by the end of December, I'd imagine they won't pay us until we've submitted.
no, I think once you get your grant, you get the check.
Once
just
the
have to
grant's
prove we
approved,
did-
you'd be all set.
Yeah, we get the check, we just have to prove that we used it and what we did with it. And there's a wide range of projects. People have done, community gardens, like assisted listening devices in theater, adult work area under a pavilion, a handicap accessible pavilion, so people could get out of the sun. There's a really wide range of things that people have done with it. And I think it'll be a big benefit to the community.
Where would we store it? Just
Right on this, right on the beach,
If they chain it up or something for the winter, just in case.
potentially, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh, we didn't vote, did we? No, we didn't vote. Sorry. All right, any other conversation? All right, all those in favor of pursuing the grant for a dock at Dara Pond?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained?
Thing.
Passes 6-0-1.
I voted,
Good
I
luck.
screwed it up.
What's that? No, I
No.
think you're all right.
Thanks for coming in.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you, George.
Since I'm here, can I just tell you
Sure.
one more thing that I found? And it's sort of related. And this has to do with Dara Pond. I just presented this to the Conservation Commission just the other day. So I happened to stumble across a New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services survey team looking at Nessenkeg Brook when I was working on the bridges this summer. And so I asked them to give me the data and that they found, and they said they'd send it to me. Well, one of the guys was also doing a study of Dara Pond. So they're coming out, and it's a 3-year program where they sample the water over 3 years, and you don't get the final study until 3 years into the study. I asked him if he could share the data with me, and he gave me some of the data. And there was one thing that was kind of glaring that came to my attention. So I don't know if I can, let me see if I can go bigger on this. So I just took a few numbers from this study. And so they have, they did studies in 85, 2001, and now in 2024. So they have this thing, it's called a Sichi disc or something like that. So there's a disc that's got black and white squares on it, and they put it down to the bottom of the, or they see how deep they can see that disc, and they can judge visibility. So in 1985, we had almost 25 feet of visibility, so they could see the disc on the very bottom of the pond. In 2001, they could see it at about 12 feet down, and just this past September, it was just about 3 feet. So what the visibility in the lake is getting worse over time. Okay, and one thing that was pretty glaring was that this the nitrogen, and he didn't give me the nitrogen numbers from this year, but he gave me the total phosphorus, and he says that it was 10 times the level that was found in 1985. And so that phosphorus comes from, and it's the same thing as this total nitrogen, but it can come from decaying organic matter, right, fish waste, excess plant material, fertilizers. So there's a number of different things, decreased oxygen levels, right?
Algae growth.
Right, so Dara Pond is getting worse, okay? And so
Okay.
there's an issue there. We probably won't do the milfoil after seeing these numbers. So if we go in there and do a kill of the vegetation, that adds more dead material into the lake, which would increase these numbers even more. Now, all those plants are growing there because of all of this phosphorus and nitrates in the water. So I'm going to try to do a study to figure out where it's coming from, or it could be coming from the pond itself. The guy said there's some type of thing that can happen where it inverts because of all of the algae and the bacteria in there. So I have to do a bunch of research to it. So I just wanted to set expectations that we're probably not going to do the milfoil kill, but we are going to look into how we can make this get this better. And so I'm gonna be working with DES, so I've talked to a few people there already, and we'll do some water monitoring studies and take samples around. I did already look, so fertilizer, right, is one of the things that you could think of. I looked at the fields, there's a crown where the trees are, so you're not getting runoff, I don't think, from the fields in there. There is a horse farm that abuts the property. We may have to go and talk to them, see about their best practices. Do they have manure runoff? I don't know. There are some abutters there that fertilize the lawns, possibly. We need to also look at septic systems.
Yeah.
Close.
So
Yeah.
I went to a study on the Cape about this. And same thing was happening in all the ponds down there.
Yep.
And a lot of it's to do with septic.
Right, so, Conservation Commission, we don't have any real authority, but we can, try to be good stewards and look for best practices and maybe suggest septic pumping, just to have them take a look at their systems, see that they aren't in failure, they may not know. So by doing samples around the lake, maybe we can get an idea of where the higher levels are. And by working with DES, do we put a pump in there and a fountain and get more oxygen in the lake? That could be one thing. There's a whole bunch of things that could happen. I just thought I'd bring it to your attention. I just found it last week. Okay, so anyways, so I don't think we're gonna be doing the milfoil, but we are still, the goal is to improve that area. So we could possibly harvest the weeds, take them out right there in the swimming area, do you know what I mean? And so clear that area, and while we're trying to figure out the rest of it. So,
To be dredged?
Well, I don't know.
Drag, not dredge.
Dragged.
I mean, they do have, well, so we don't have invasive milfoil, we don't have the European, milfoil in there, we have native milfoil. And so we could have possibly removed that milfoil and we were going to be able to do it. You can get a lot more money from the state if you have the invasive milfoil. And they have people who come in and they dive and they harvest the milfoil, by hand. So something like that could possibly be done for some, but all of that vegetation is there because of the nutrients in the water. And I'll say, I was just down there yesterday, and there might have been 300 or 400 geese on the pond. So if they're there quite often,
What if we put a sign up that said no geese?
I was thinking RC boats, that could be a.
Yeah.
So,
We're just gonna
or
remote
drones.
control when it goes out circling every once in a while.
So
Yeah.
so the geese could actually be in, I don't know how.
part of the problem.
I noticed them last year, and there's a large number of them. So I don't know if they're there, they must be there every year, I don't know for how long, but, I mean, you see what they do to golf courses or grassy areas, so, they could be part of the
Fertilized
problem.
golf courses.
So anyways, it's kind of interesting, but we also I think we need to get on top of it to make sure that we can still put the dock in and people can still fish and do that, but we're trying to make it as good as possible.
Right. No, that's good information for sure. Lucky we ran into that team.
Yeah, no, it's great,
Well, we're trying to
and
take
they're
the milfoil.
really helpful, so, it's good to have an open line of communication there.
Yeah, thank you.
So we just gotta get on Board of Selectmen agenda. You
Are you gonna do
touch base? Yeah, I can do that if you want.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, George.
Thanks, George.
Thank you, George.
Have a good night.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judy.
Welcome.
All right, we will circle back to facility and field requests. Looks like we received the updated certificate of insurance from the Healthy Kids Running, but I don't believe there were any new.
No requests. Nope.
All right, so back to new business. We have a new representative to the Board of Selectmen. Mr. Lynch, welcome.
Thank you.
Looking forward to it. Did you say it's 90 days or just for the interim or
Whatever they decide.
however long we need you?
We're going through a change in one division here, so
Okay.
it's happened so many times in a short period of time.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure we get somebody good now, who wants to stay. I'm helping out in the meantime.
All right.
Background has something to do with it.
Sure, yeah, definitely the experience, right?
I'm new at this.
All right, so the 2025 calendar, November 11th, Veterans Day. We have a meeting scheduled that afternoon.
Yeah,
that evening?
so Kim asked us to look at next year's schedule and get it all squared away so it can
Okay.
be published. So the Veterans Day is a holiday for people working in town hall. We can still have a meeting or we cannot have a meeting. We just need to decide. That was the only conflict all year with the Tuesdays.
Yeah. I mean, I'm open to having a meeting as long as we have access to the room, somebody to televise it and.
Yeah, I'm part of that.
So we'll keep that.
It's kind of a busy time of year too.
Yes, it is.
We need to select dates in June and July. That's when we
We usually
Right.
meet once a month.
once a month.
Yeah.
So I think in the past we've done
The first.
the first meeting, which would be the second Tuesday of the month.
Which would
So
be the
June-
14th of July and the 9th of June.
Works for me.
July 14th, okay.
First Monday or first Tuesday?
First Tuesday.
Second Tuesday.
Second.
Second Tuesday.
Second Tuesday of the
it'd be
first.
So it'll be the
meeting
10th of June,
Of June,
10th.
yeah, 10th of June,
15th of July.
the 15th.
Yeah, the first meeting night, second week.
Yep.
And then Tuesday, December 23rd. Yeah, no, that's right up against Christmas.
Yeah,
What day's Christmas? So it must be Thursday that year, obviously.
Thursday
Yeah.
the
so
25th.
like, this year our meeting's on the 24th.
I'm
We're
fine with
not having
keeping
the
that one
meeting.
too.
You want to take that back, don't you?
Keeping it? You want to keep that meeting?
What's that?
You want to keep that meeting on the 23rd?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else you got to do?
Get the
Are you
shopping
kidding?
done, you'd be fine.
My wife will have the shopping.
Shopping is until the 24th.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Oh, noontime.
Well, it's a slower time for us
It is,
because
yeah.
all the winter requests are in, but,
But we can always hold it if we have nothing on the agenda, just not have the meeting.
I'm comfortable with that.
Hold it, I recommend it, because you don't know what's gonna happen.
okay, so we'll keep that.
Quick go back on July, the second Tuesday is the 8th. The first is the Tuesday.
Can't go
Oh, it is,
for-
that's right, I was looking
Wait
at
a minute, let me
Mondays.
see here.
I can't do that, it's my birthday.
Second Tuesday is the,
I
yeah,
won't be there, though.
But
there's
with
5 Tuesdays in July.
July, yeah.
So
But
either
with,
the 8th or the 22nd.
but with the 4th of July being that weekend, are we better off
I'm
pushing
kind
it?
of leaning towards the 22nd
It's
because our
22nd.
fall sports and fall
And it gets us
requests
away
will
from the
be
whole
coming
4th
in.
of July
Agree
weekend.
with that. That's a good point.
So July 22nd.
Yeah, and we'll have one late in June,
Yeah.
so we'll have.
June
whatever.
10th.
Well, June,
June 10th.
Well, no, he's saying if
Well,
we,
no,
if we
why don't we
rotate
go
both of them
second
to the
on
second.
both?
Or do we want to do
We
the
could go second on both,
second
yeah.
in
Yeah,
both?
second meeting, I think, is a good.
Okay, so
Because we'll have one late in
June
May.
24th then.
4th and July 22nd.
We can hold a special meeting if we get any requests or
Right.
anything that we need to.
And
By
we're going
then-
to keep Veterans Day, we're going to keep the
23rd.
23rd.
By then, spring sports are already going, they're in full tilt.
All right, so do you want me to get back to Kim? with
Yeah.
that? Okay.
Close to all that.
And, oh, the town academy should have not been listed as 4, should have been listed as D. That email we got, I don't quite
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
understand what it is, but,
Find that email.
it sounds like, I don't know, it sounded like you can, residents can sign up to go to these town academy sessions in different groups, and town can present for 45 minutes what they do, and then you get a certificate for it.
yeah.
I'm not sure if I understand the whole thing.
I'll nominate Mike Bosky to go to that.
To
I
do
will
our
second it.
45-minute presentation.
Here it is.
Narrow it down.
The academy will run 4 to 6 weeks, meeting once a week. In the evening, departments and boards will have the opportunity to present to the group an overview of what duties they perform for the town. Some departments may also include a tour of of their facility. This so we can show them talent.
Oh, well,
We
should
can do a tour
do a
of town
tour.
hall and show them how we fix the toilets. We check the porta potties.
Yeah,
Judy, you
Go
could bring him
around
to
on the
every
floor.
porta
Let 'em-
potty in town and show him.
let them go underneath the floor at Talent.
This will allow the
Fix the holes
residents,
in the walls.
Who's been underneath the floor recently?
this will, just today.
You were?
This will allow the residents to become better informed on municipal services and develop relationships with people at the town hall. Residents graduate at the end of the academy and receive their diploma.
Wait, is this our town is telling us
Yeah.
to do this?
Yes.
Our town
Yeah.
is putting this on.
Okay. I thought it was like another town.
They're looking, no, they're looking to have boards and commissions present as well. They want to know by January 2nd if we are, if we, the Recreation Commission, would like to participate.
So we have to
It's an
decide
excellent
that
way to
tonight.
recruit new board members, and you would.
Ours
only
might
need to
not recruit
develop-
new people.
I mean, it seems like something you could do in one meeting, not 4 weeks.
You to develop a 30 to 45-minute presentation.
That would be tough.
Present that in one evening.
I think that's subject to
I
change.
think it's a 4 to 6 because I think each.
Multiple-
My understanding is
we could pick a
each-
date
it's like
over the
one
course
meeting
of-
per
Got it.
department.
Got
I
it.
guess. I mean, if that's the commitment, I'm happy to put something together.
I got lots of pictures.
Yeah, we can work on it as a board and
Yeah.
collaborate, and then I don't mind getting in front of a crowd. Peter's pretty good with that stuff too.
How many students are they accepting? Did it say?
Yeah.
First 25 residents.
Yes.
First 25 residents. I don't know if it will be that big, but.
Glass half full, Judy.
We'll find out.
All right. So, does that work? Does it sound like a
Yeah.
positive thing? So we can tell them that we're in.
So that we'll participate, that's what we gotta tell them.
Yep. Just that we'll participate.
Okay, yeah.
it doesn't look like they've picked the time of year they're doing it yet either, so.
Okay. I'm being told that town hall will be closed on Tuesday, the 11th, Veterans Day, so we cannot hold a meeting.
Oh, we cannot hold the meeting.
Okay. Decision is made.
Thank you.
And so we'll have one in November, but we have the 2 dates in December.
Yep.
We need them. Okay. So no meeting. Oh, someone's watching?
This is budget
Our viewer.
season, yeah.
Our viewer.
Our viewer.
Our one viewer.
All right, moving on to old business, budget and finance review.
So was this based on my email?
Yes.
Is that on there? Yeah, so as the new guy, I was just asking a bunch of questions. I flipped you that email, previously, so I'll call out a couple of things. So I guess I was trying to find out, I actually walked in on Friday night, I think the custodial services guy was there in Talon Hall, just trying to figure out what his scope of work actually was and where that is.
Yeah, it's mostly dealing with the restrooms, cleaning up, some sweeping.
Do we have a contract or?
No, it's
It's
town
the
employee.
one,
It's town
same
employee.
one here, yeah. So
Okay.
during basketball season, I believe he's twice a week.
Right.
Okay.
And then outside of that, he's once a week because it's not as heavily used.
So we pay, was it 3,500?
Let me find the budget.
Custodial services, yeah, 3,500 for the year.
He does the cleaning, he restocks the cleaner, the hand soap.
I'm
the
just wondering too,
towels,
like
yeah.
that's,
Yeah.
like toilet
Toilet
paper,
paper,
right?
paper towels.
So you don't have to buy it?
Yeah,
Yeah, he's supposed to do all that. He
so
cleans
that
town
has
hall also.
been better, I guess it's better stocked now.
I guess same thing, trash container services, do we have a scope or is that again? town?
not for the trash barrels themselves.
Yeah.
The leagues are supposed to do that. The trash services pertains to the dumpsters.
And then
Dumpster's a contract.
highway department picks up the playground and the one at the entrance to Dara.
Yeah.
And, tennis courts, where the courts are.
And all of the dumpsters at all the fields are part of the contract with solid waste.
Okay. And that's our piece of the pie is the 5,500 bucks?
Yeah, they're all 4-yard ones, I think, at all the facilities, and it divides out. It's a substantial savings over what we used to pay.
PR program expenses, any idea what that was?
Judy's thank you cards.
So it's budgeted $2,000, you've expended $493. You have
So
$1,500
some of
left.
that might have to do with, the fishing derby
Okay,
and that
Yeah.
Yep.
type of advertising, posters, that kind of stuff, if there's something's distributed, because we, do the fishing derby with, Conservation Commission, they foot out more money than we do.
Yeah.
we have an encumbrance, 9,500 bucks under field maintenance. Do we
Yep.
know,
It was encumbered from last year.
do we have to do anything on it before the end of the year?
That was like in case a pump or something went throughout this year. That's why I believe we did that, right?
Correct. We had money, there was money left over, we earmarked it,
Yeah.
and then, so it got encumbered by the Board of Selectmen, they're the only ones who can encumber funds. Now, you can encumber it again for a second year, but you can't, I don't think you can do a
Can't
third
go
year.
beyond that.
So if we haven't expended it and we do have it earmarked, we can ask the Board of Selectmen to encumber it once again for us.
So as we come up to the end of the year, do we want to do anything with it? I guess is what.
So that was part of our conversation last time, how do we want to go use the monies that we have left? And if we do have something that has not been executed by the end of the year, if we have a quote, we can go to the Board of Selectmen and say, we'd like you to encumber these funds
Right.
for this. So that's what we need to figure out pretty much tonight, right? What we want to encumber and what we have to go ahead.
Thought we did that last meeting.
We did, and some of our motions weren't correct because of dollar values. So I believe Ms. Kleiner sent us all a note saying we had to fix some of our
Numbers.
numbers in our
In a
votes.
line, right.
So we need to do that this evening.
Can we zip through that now?
When Justin's done.
I think it's the next one. Warrant article update.
That's a warrant article?
Well, I think it's all within that discussion,
Yeah. that's-
because part of
I
it
think
was
those-
warrant
I think those
article
were all the
too, that we did
questions.
last week.
So I just want to make sure the 9,500 bucks was sitting in there, so I didn't know if we had to do anything with it prior to the end of the year.
Was that we had talked about using about that amount for the pump at Sawmill? Was that?
Well, we also encumbered it because we didn't know what was gonna happen to the warrant article that we put forth about maintenance and repair.
No, I mean to encumber this year to be used next year. We were doing some adding up where we had funds.
Last meeting, yes, but
Yeah,
I think
the
the
last
line
meeting.
item that Justin's speaking of is what we encumbered last year because we didn't know what was gonna happen with the warrant article that was brought forth last March.
Right.
Yeah, so it's sitting in there earmarked, right? And
Correct.
just we need to spend it or not spend it.
And we haven't expended any of that line yet, I don't think.
Can that
No, I
go,
don't
since our
Use
numbers
it
were not
towards the
correct with whatever we said, can that go towards the Sawmill pump whole system project?
Yeah. It seems
It's in our
like
budget, it's money, so it's a bottom line budget, so it's in our budget.
Oh,
It can
okay.
be used for that.
But if we don't encumber it, we lose it.
But we have to watch on how it was encumbered. What did we
Oh.
say we were gonna encumber it
Okay.
for, right? So
Right.
we have to look at the language of what it was encumbered. If it was encumbered for,
Maintenance.
or maintenance or a pump, then we could
Maintenance.
use it, for the pump itself.
Yeah, maintenance is part of the pump.
So,
okay? That's
we
what
just have to
it's-
look at that.
it's maintenance.
We'll have to see how we encumbered it.
Yeah, because
That's the
How the
stuff
Board of
I'm
Selectmen
terrible
encumbered it on our
with, so.
behalf.
I'll trust you guys.
Because to me, the way I would look at it is I think we thought last meeting, we had like $13,000 left in the budget, but if we got the $9,500 too, it's, $2,200, right? So, or 22,000.
We're telling us, they're watching us.
What's that?
They're watching us.
So I don't see where you're seeing that. I mean,
It was the one you sent out.
the one I sent out. I'm looking at the most recent one I got now.
So this was from November. Under field maintenance, 1, 2, 3, fourth column over, 9468.75.
Yeah, field maintenance, it looks like our remaining balance is in the negative.
Right, because it's adding in the encumbrance,
Oh,
which
okay.
is, I'm assuming, being left aside until we decide to spend the money.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see that. I don't see any money in encumbrance on this budget.
So who would we ask about that? Karen White?
Karen and Kim.
Karen, this week, Kim's out on vacation this week. So Karen's in charge. You do
So
it.
Karen would have those numbers.
Karen would
She
have,
will.
yep.
She will have them.
I'd say I'll reach out to her, but I'm not exactly sure how this all works or how to word it and make sure I get the right thing. I feel like I'd end up having more questions after, or she would have more questions for me that I,
If you've got money that you encumbered for repairs and stuff like that, maintenance, you just want to make sure you put that back in.
I'll give Karen a call tomorrow and have a conversation with her.
I'll show you this most recent budget.
thanks.
Of course.
All right.
Which line item is
Any other questions on that?
Oh, I got it, sir, thank you.
All right. Next, the warrant article update. So that was pertaining to how I worded it in my request. So I guess step one is replenish the expendable trust fund for facility maintenance and repairs, which was 15,000. Originally, we're expending all of that, so we wanna replenish the 15,000.
It was just 15. Okay, I thought it was originally
Oh, no, I'm sorry, it
25.
was 25. My verbiage was 15,000, right, so we wanna make that 25. Okay. And then the second request was to expand that or increase that, I think we said by another 25, is that
25.
what we said?
Another 25 to a total of,
50.
So it's a total of 50.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I think those are the two big things.
Was a question on the toilet services?
There was a question on how I came to the number, and that's the number that I took from last year's budget, for that. The number's coming down, so I'll just plug in the new contract price, on I think that's it, unless there's anything else anybody wants to add. All right. The fall and winter projects, good news, I was in
We
town-
probably should vote on the correct verbiage of the warrant
Okay.
articles.
All right, good
Okay.
point. All right, so, anybody want to make a motion to approve the replenishment of the original fund to 25,000?
So moved.
I'll second.
More discussion? All those in favor?
Aye?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained? 700.
Yep.
And then increase the recreational expendable trust for facility repair and maintenance by another 25,000 for a
So
total of
moved.
50.
I will second.
Any discussion? All
Good
those in
idea.
favor?
Aye?
Opposed, abstained?
I'm
So-
gonna abstain because I don't recall hi, I'm new. I remember the budget, but I don't remember the reason for that one.
Okay. All right, passes then 601. So for fall and winter projects, I was in Talent Hall this morning. The urinal's been repaired. Seems to be working well. I also checked out the ladies' bathroom. It looks like the toilet paper dispenser has been reinstalled. The door seemed to be fixed.
Junior did the dispenser on Monday. I guess he saw it in there on Friday but didn't have tools. And
Okay,
he came back and
Okay.
put up on Monday because he must do Friday, Monday for his two cleanings.
okay. So not, I guess, since we're, well, the shed roof, we were talking about the shed roof. Steve, you got a price on that?
Yeah, it's $1,000. iRoof can come in and do the shed itself. They'll fix the cap on the other shelf, on the other shed, because there's like 3 feet missing. And then if you look at the 2 side doors, we have the little teeny sheds over them that are shingled. They'll either shingle all those.
When you say the other shed, you're talking about the softball storage
I
shed?
believe so, yeah. When he walked around the whole building, he looked at it and he said the cap's off, so he'll just go in and put 3 feet of cap on each end of it. Said it was missing, so.
I
Seems
did
good.
notice in the quote though, it's extra for plywood, and we know that's gonna be
Correct.
plywood.
So
it's
that
probably
would-
gonna be
It was $70 a sheet.
probably gonna be 10 or 12 sheets of plywood, right?
Yeah.
I don't.
Like it needs that much plywood?
How big
it's
was
gonna
the hole?
Replace the whole roof, so it's
Oh, no, he's just gonna.
I don't know
It's
if
only
you
gonna
need the whole,
replace the piece that's bad.
Yeah.
Is how they do it.
Yeah.
if it's only that one piece.
Correct.
I
So
guarantee
he
it's
could-
all bad.
But he also could find bad piece over each one of the door too. We don't know how bad those have been leaking. So I think we should, if we do want to go with their quote, I think we should allocate more money
That's
than
all
the
I'm saying.
$1,000.
Yeah.
That's all
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Just because of those gotchas.
yeah.
And we should have some because what we set aside for the urinals being covered by government buildings fund, which isn't
Yeah.
ours. Do you know if they looked at the other toilets also while they were there? Because Kim had
I
said
had
she was gonna
requested
have
that
them,
and she was gonna ask them of it. I haven't heard back
how they were.
that they
Okay.
did. I mean, I checked them all today. They all seem to be
All right.
functioning properly, so I'm not a plumber, but they were flushing, so.
Well, you did a good job fixing the
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
at the
And also, a
Christmas
couple of years
lunch.
back, iRoof actually gave back to the community. They redid the whole roof at the food pantry for us at no cost. So the owner lives in town, and they've been very good at giving back to the town. I believe they also did the roof down at recycling too, right? That's what I thought.
So we need to add some money in case.
Yeah, I'd probably make it 2,000, right?
I would
Not
too.
knowing.
Yeah, I mean, because if it's 10 sheets of plywood, at
It's $70 a piece,
max,
that's
you're talking
$700.
$750.
Still cheaper than a new shed and the structure of the
Oh,
shed
fine.
is.
Exactly,
Good.
yeah, and we'll get 20, 30 years out of it,
Which will far exceed the life
of the shed. The roof will still be going, but the
It'll
walls
just be
won't.
shingles.
Probably exceed my
The
life
sills will be
too.
falling off.
It'll be a little pavilion.
I mean, so should I make I'll make a motion to approve up to $2,000 for the repair of
Roofing.
the shed at Town Hall and the surrounding roofs
On the other side,
on the other side.
okay, towards the pond side, those roofs in there.
So last meeting, didn't we do $2,000 last meeting?
We did.
Yeah,
So do
Did we, in the quote came back at only 1,000?
That we allocated up to that, and we went off to get quotes. Yeah.
Oh,
So
We
okay.
allocated 2,000.
Yeah,
So then we're
we
good.
should be good.
So we're still good.
Okay, so do we need to revote or no?
No.
No,
The last
I
meeting,
withdraw
it looks
my
like,
motion.
Motion.
looks like it won 601, motion carried.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
And we have their certificate of insurance and their W-9
Oh,
already, so.
I saw those.
Right, I'll reach out to Marissa, who's the office manager, and let her know.
Do we have to go through the town on that?
We,
We'd have to probably.
well, they're gonna pay the
sign
bill
off.
and everything, yeah, so we
we'll have
should
to
let,
Sign off on the quote, so we'll need to send it to Kim and Karen.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, outdoor heating unit cover,
I have no update, sorry.
no,
I just don't really have time to get down there.
yeah.
And,
So, we have the option for those metal units that we were talking about last meeting, or we can look at, something a little more substantial.
The ones, you talking about the ones when the fence, the heating?
Yes, the heating unit inside the fence. It's been recommended
That would
we
be
put
a
a cover over
pain
it.
to
Oh, I
put cover on.
recommended when I saw them the first time and no one listened. When I saw that, I go,
I wonder
you gotta get something
move the
over these.
walls.
But-
Like to let the airflow in.
So I
Yeah.
think, Chris, did you find something for 800?
Yeah.
And then Steve Gannon was looking into something,
Yeah.
but yours seemed to be a better,
10-foot by 15-foot metal, metal carport type
Yeah,
cover.
just something because
I'm
everything
more
was
concerned
shut
about
off.
blowing snow coming
Yeah.
this way.
So I think this would,
Blowing
I
rain.
think this would be good and should last, at least a few years anyway. And so if it's,
It'll last
If it's-
a long time.
yeah, if it's mounted down to the pads, I think it'll be okay.
we gotta do something because for the past 2 years it's been recommended that we don't let the rain and snow get on that. But as far as materials and all that stuff, I don't know anything about it, so I'll take your word.
Yeah, I mean, this is normally just over it's $1,059.99. It's on sale for $804 right now from Home Depot.
Is it easy to assemble? Do you know?
I've never put one together, but I mean, can't be that difficult.
The lightweight roof, it's just taking the snow, when you put it up there, you have to be careful what comes off the main roof. That's what's gonna make it stronger. Cause whatever comes off the main roof's gonna fall.
Gotta land on it, yeah.
That's a good point.
When they build it, they gotta shed it off to the side,
Mhm.
and they gotta brace it for impact.
So, like,
Yeah.
we need some kind of structure totally
Combined structure.
enclosed?
Yeah, it's just a minor, it's just a roof part,
Okay,
okay, and you got the supports here with the fencing.
Yeah.
You can use that to put some bracing across, to take care of it, and put a couple L shapes in there to keep it.
you wanna do it for us? You sound like you know what you're talking about.
I have some things, I know.
And when you say it was recommended the last couple of years, who's recommended it?
We've had problems with the heat
The heating.
in town.
I just wondered,
Yeah, the
I
heating
just
company.
wondered if it was
Yeah.
somebody that could do it also,
Who's your heating contract down there? Is that
that
affiliated,
recommended it. They
or is it?
provide something.
There's been a couple different ones.
They probably
The one
wouldn't
that's
be
been servicing it, I don't think is the one that
People who-
installed it.
Take care of furnaces aren't the ones I'd hire to do that.
When was that that was installed?
2019, 18,
Yeah.
something like that.
But right before COVID, so I'd say probably 19. It was installed in 19. Because the last time it went down, I think it was still within warranty, it looked like. We questioned the warranty, and it was really close to 4 years. So I think it was 19.
So do we want to proceed with this carport type structure or look at something a little more?
I'm not gonna bend it.
You think that will do the trick?
Jimmy?
Yeah,
I'll look at it tomorrow,
I'll forward this to you.
okay?
okay.
I'll forward this to everybody.
So do we want to approve it?
We did last,
And
I think we
we-
did last,
I
I
was
think
trying to-
that was
I
the
was
one
trying to
thing
look
we
at it.
didn't,
that was the one thing we didn't because we were going to look into it.
Yeah.
further.
Yeah.
but can we approve it pending Kevin checking it?
Yep.
Sure.
Does that make
I don't
sense?
know, Why not? Yeah,
It's just a matter of just bracing it.
So the Board of Selectmen will be handling encumbrances for 2024 at the December 23rd meeting. Please email me all the encumbrances by, this is from Ms. Kleiner, All the encumbrances by next Thursday. Reminder, items can only be encumbered if you have a quote, PO, or contract. It must be a legally binding expense of the year. If you encumbered items at the end of '23 to be spent in '24, it hasn't been spent. It will lapse unless re-encumbered by the board.
You just get that?
Can we just put it towards the pump then?
She's on vacation.
The maintenance being done at the sawmill?
Well, Chris said he didn't see it in there, so I had November
Oh.
two thousand twenty-four on
last,
Kim's watching.
I-
there. You have December's?
December, yeah, I'm looking at the most recent one that. had
What,
it sent out.
what line number was it?
What was that?
What was the code number to it? If you go to the left-hand side to it, there's usually a line number or a code number.
Let's see, I got an account number?
That's a big
It's
computer.
field maintenance, so it's 014520.10-650.
Do you see that one?
I see the line item, I don't see any encumbered
You show as 1963.20 balance remaining negative,
negative, yeah.
so maybe we spent it.
So that,
But it would show all the money somewhere in there expended.
The original
I'm seeing
budget,
it
the
upside.
original
Sure,
budget was
650.
$92,265, and we've spent $94,228.20.
Yeah, this was. That's November.
could that have been
we-
spent
Unless we spent
with
it.
I
extra
think we put
mowing
it towards,
around the pickleball courts? And tennis courts, could that have
did we
been?
allocate it for something last?
But you should still see the word encumbrance, right? On that, on the one you're looking at, and it should be wherever got charged against it.
It just says zero.
It says zero now? You can't go back and see where it was allocated, what month?
I have to go back through the budget each month, but I don't, it won't tell me where it was spent.
You check on that account number tomorrow when you
Did we
call.
overspend field maintenance this year?
Yes.
Yes, we did.
So that's where it probably went.
Because we had
We
to,
only overspent by $1,900.
Then that wouldn't consume all of it. All right, I'll
We
ask
can
Karen.
get the detail of the account, right? We can just ask.
Yeah, I'll ask Karen tomorrow.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then see if, what that was.
Get the
assigned
line
as.
out.
Yeah.
Is that Kim just texting you? She did it the other night.
Chris, I had found basically the same cover that you had looked at in a different color. It was gray instead of brown for $140 cheaper. I sent an email after our last meeting. That I don't think we care what color it is.
Not picky about the color.
Well, we don't want it to clash with the green.
It's gotta be the right
with a
shade.
maroon stripe.
Yeah.
But isn't there tan above that?
I'm trying to take a screenshot of this and it's not letting me, so I'll send that out later. All right, so
There's an email, yeah. That came in, everybody got it.
we'll table the, or what we want to do pending Kevin's inspection of the,
Look at it tomorrow, get back to you.
okay. Then the sawmill pump,
Well, is this our last meeting by,
this is our last meeting.
so do we wanna put the dollars aside?
If they're there.
We need to figure out what we want to go
We
do,
should.
and we have to
We
get
should.
quotes for it, so.
But we don't-
So I-
What is our list of stuff that we want? I mean, we did some of them we did the shed last time. We did what, the well pump also last time?
Cameras,
Cameras are already approved.
Didn't I forward the quote?
okay.
The pump?
You
Yeah,
did.
you did.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
we approved that.
Thought I
one
did.
from Natticook.
Yeah.
Yeah, you forwarded that.
So we have a quote for that.
Yep. We have the shed, we have the well pump, so we're good on both of those. Plus, we also allocated monies last time for it.
Right. We took care of the cameras 2 meetings ago.
Yeah, I think,
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So
So-
just this cover, if that's what you wanna do.
That's the last piece of it. One other thing that I had found is some rebar type stakes, like candy cane shaped stakes to fasten down the chemical toilets, prevent them from tipping easily. They're,
Oh.
we can get
So they can't
6
be
sets of
tipped.
them for $250.
What really should be done for those is pads should be poured, and then every one of the toilets actually has a hole in the back of it where a bolt goes up through it and keeps it from tipping over.
Can't tip it.
So you can't tip it. That's kind of the anti-tip thing. We've talked about it many times, trying to go put
but you
pads
have to have
in,
a
but
pad under it. in order.
But a concrete pad, because
Yeah.
then you can actually, you put the anchor right into the concrete pad, and then when they put it up, it goes right on top of it.
You
Is
got
that
that?
something we
That's
look
what I
into
said.
next year?
Okay.
What's that?
Is that something we look into next year?
Probably. I mean,
Yeah, I
we
mean-
eventually should do it.
I think each league would have to probably do it. We come up with a spec for it, and then during a, like for baseball, for instance, we could probably do it during spring cleanup. You know, because we get a lot of people at those generally.
Yeah.
I don't know, you
I mean,
know.
Or we ask a concrete guy in town, I know some guy who
Do
works
you?
for a concrete company
Oh.
in town, yeah.
What it
And
would
just
cost to
say,
do
you know,
s- 5
he works
pads.
for a bigger company, but what would happen if he came in and did it himself, right?
Right.
If he had to do a pad for each one of them. One of the pads will be bigger, well, a couple will be for handicap units, but.
Well, we wouldn't be doing that right now.
No,
No,
we're
we
just
wouldn't
thinking,
So,
well,
yeah.
it just came up because people were talking about tipping
Yeah.
over. But we've
So-
talked for years
but
about
I can
putting
put
it.
that
We ought to do
in,
that.
like, January or February to discuss on the
Probably,
agenda.
probably more in the springtime.
March.
My gut would say one or two tip overs would pay for the price of the concrete pad in the.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the
Would-
tip over call was, what, $80?
I thought it was more than that. I thought it was like 150.
It was a lot.
New contract is less.
Oh, it is.
Okay. But that's really what we should do, is
Still-
just have
So
a
that would be
dedicated
March,
location,
yeah.
pour a pad, then they know where they go
Let's make
every
it
single
April,
time.
and I'm not secretary anymore.
Yeah.
We can build the form, and if there's a concrete guy that can come in and do a concrete.
Yeah, let me do the whole thing. I mean, if we have enough of them, it might be worth his while, or.
Okay. All right, so why don't we make a motion to do the carport roof pending Kevin's approval?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
So,
Up to what dollar value?
$1,000.
call it 1,100 because that's the normal price.
Up to
Oh,
$1,100.
in case it goes off
whatever.
sale, yeah,
Yeah.
we should.
Gets it goes off sale.
Is there shipping on it, or is that something we pick up?
It's at Home Depot, right?
It's at Home Depot.
free,
I think they would deliver it.
Yeah. Ship to store free, delivery free.
Yeah, deliver it.
Okay, that's good. So what's the original price?
1059
$10.59,
99.
On something like
say
that,
1,100?
on something like that, how do we pay for it by the end of the year? Because it's not a quote, it's at a Home Depot.
You might have to go to, what is it, they call it, the Pro Desk or something, and get a quote.
Okay, so that we could submit it.
I mean, I can get a quote right online.
Well, couldn't, wait, do you have to have a quote if it's under, like, $2,500 or something?
We need to have one if we're gonna encumber.
To encumber it.
We need to have a quote, a PO, something.
Oh,
Because you'd be spending
but
this
couldn't,
money.
if we approve it, couldn't you just do it now?
Yeah, couldn't we just get a PO?
Get it done before the end of December?
Sure.
And
The only thing you need a PO to encumber, it's always something that we're not gonna buy by the end. So like, you know, the shed roof, we don't know if they're gonna be able to do it by the end of the year, so we have everything we need for it. The well pump, we know that won't happen, so we have a quote for that, because we're gonna have to encumber that.
Right.
I just got a quote for it.
Did you?
Yeah.
Then you're good.
You got everything, yeah.
So what's the dollar amount? 1,100?
Well,
We do.
yeah,
Should we do 1,100, just round it up?
sure.
We never know if we're gonna need piece parts, something
Yeah.
else, that we go out there. I mean,
Yeah.
To anchor it
higher
to
is
the
better
ground.
than lower.
Yeah.
If we don't expend it all, no big deal.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, carried 700.
We always end up having to wait till the end of the year to see what needs to be fixed, most importantly.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it would be nice if we could just replace and fix as we go along, but it's like, something bigger might happen. We have,
And then we have the sawmill pump and system. I think, Andy, you got the quote for that, correct?
Yes.
we approved it,
And we
right?
approved it last meeting.
Okay.
Perfect.
Everything, so everything
Be
on the
everything.
fall, winter projects now has been addressed.
Okay.
It's all been covered.
And then we want to review the facility field use form, updated by Jeff.
Jeff updated it.
You
Yeah.
updated it to add the,
I put
verbiage
the
about
fee
prepayment.
schedule in.
The request dates
I put the
due,
date, the due date, no later than the Wednesday before the meeting.
and I think you put in requesting submit your COI. also, is that on there? I can't
Yeah,
remember.
that's in there. Yep. I put in no sooner than 6 months. We've talked about that back and forth, so I just put a stake in the ground and said 6 months. If we want to change it, we can change it. But
Yeah, that, I do have that marked on the January agenda, that we would select our dates based on seasons.
Okay.
So it goes, so.
Yeah, that makes sense.
putting in, the insurance limit in our bylaws is $2 million if you have alcohol. So I just clarified that in here. It says there's a $1 million limit, but if there's alcohol, you need 2. Trying to think what else I changed in here, other stuff that we had talked about. The fee schedule, I put at the bottom of the last page. Any other comments, if anybody's had a chance to look through it?
I don't have any.
Yep.
Nope.
Good, thank you for updating that. It's a
Yeah,
living,
thanks.
breathing document and ever changing.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
I think that covers it for old business. Before we move on to other, a couple of items I wanted to bring up. So I don't know if everybody saw an email from John Brindell, but the old recreation website is now offline. We're all migrated over to the new town, shared town website. So, I think he said that the URL should direct us to the new town site, but it didn't seem to work when I tried it. So,
Oh,
I don't know if,
thought I
if
tried it
anybody
and it
else is
did.
experiencing that. I think everything that we needed, primarily the calendar and everything else that we needed is over there and seems to be up to date and,
Yeah, it's
working
really,
pretty
it's
well.
easy to find now.
yeah.
Was it Litchfield?
And if we want to make any updates, we just got to reach out to Kim and John, and they're very quick about taking care of those if we have any changes we need to make to it.
So are they the ones changing our calendar when we get?
No, I think
requests?
Peter's still managing the
Okay,
calendar.
okay.
Yeah.
But it automatically links to it, so it doesn't really
Yeah.
change anything.
I assume this is what
Yeah.
you were getting?
Yeah, that's a,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine didn't work either for me.
okay.
It work for you?
No.
As a quick update from this morning, so I met the TF Moran engineers over at Talent Hall. They performed their inspection underneath the crawl space,
Oh.
floor, and everything else. They were there for about an hour and a half, 2 guys crawling around underneath there.
Been there.
They pointed out that there's another hatch in the bathroom I didn't even know about, so they were around the whole thing.
Really?
Yeah,
In the men's?
yeah,
Yeah, been there for
I
years.
never noticed in the women's, wow.
yeah, so they.
Any dead bodies in there?
They didn't find, they didn't tell me about anything. They both came out, so that's it was pretty optimistic. So they did say that it looks like somebody's done some work under there within the last number of years.
Last 50?
I don't know who. They said that it looks like the sonotubes are newer, the supports to the beams are newer. There were some metal pipes that were laid
Oh.
down that they looked like were
They're
old
all done.
supports.
We don't say anything.
Everything was, the sand under there is all completely dry. There's really no moisture coming up from the ground. The insulation looks like it's all fairly new. It's just stapled up. It's not being held up by any supports or anything.
Thanks, Kevin.
Prisoners were a great help.
Yeah.
No, it's, honestly, we used to get the Valley Street Boys, I call them.
Yeah.
And I made them, and they were in the trades, most of these guys, they just had a vacation time up there temporarily. And they loved coming in and doing work. And I used to bring them over, and one of the things, I've been through that basement 2 or 3 times. And, it's nice. And the first time I put some insulation, I spent half a day putting the insulation out to see what was going on, look at the rot, very little rot. And it has been repaired 4 or 5 different times over the years. And that's what he was talking about. The other thing in there, that when the Valley Street Boys came in, I had them redo the insulation, put it up and staple stuff and back. So it's all up, because it was all laying down there for years. So now it's all back in place, and they can't jump on the floor too much, it falls down.
Well, they did notice one area that had some fairly significant rot, and it's
I know where
over
it
by
is.
the exterior door right in front of the bathrooms.
Correct.
The beam
That
is
one area,
rotting
always
out.
been rotted.
So the water's coming in from somewhere, from the outside wall. They think it might have to do with the support that's holding up the roof truss in that area.
And the canopy over that roof line with the walkway there going up the stairs,
Yeah.
that's the creation right there, because it's splashing up against the concrete.
Yeah.
And you have a crack in that area in the block
Run this
wall.
back down.
So, yeah, so
And
that.
plus it's sloping the other way.
So there's some attention that needs to be dealt with there. They will be putting together a detailed report with pictures and drawings and everything else. I've invited them to present it at our next meeting in January. So we should have all of that information by then. I don't wanna steal much of their thunder. One of the things that they did point out is that the joists are 2x8. So for the live load, on there, they'd be worried about laying a synthetic surface over the existing floor, with the added weight, and
Right.
probably more given for some of the events that we do in there, not necessarily for
All the
sports.
people.
But, yeah, like the amount of people that were in there this past weekend, they'd be a little bit hesitant on that. So if we were to do anything in there, it's probably either refinish the existing floor, or we gotta tear out the hardwood and then we can do a synthetic. The thought on the synthetic is that it'll help level out some of the warps and unevenness on the floor.
What's the upkeep on synthetic? Is it? I don't know.
So what is it, like
I
sheathing
get a
underneath it,
copy?
like
Sheathing and then
It's
just.
planking, it's planking.
planking
Yeah.
and then,
Yeah, planking, then the joist, then the beams. The joist is sitting on top of the beams.
oh, okay.
And the beams are spaced every 10 feet, I think they said.
Can you get a copy, can I get a copy of that report from the town records?
Yeah, I don't have it yet.
They're gonna get a CC to town. okay?
Yeah, they
And I'll
said
put
they'd
it
probably
in
get
the
it to
official
me.
records for the record we have here.
Yep.
Because I remember doing a lot of work many years ago, before I even came here, I'll work on that building.
Yeah, they said they'd probably get that to me sometime before the end of the year, so.
Good.
Sometime this month. And then they'll come and present to it, in January, so. That's positive anyway, so, I mean, it sounded like it looked pretty good under there. We'll see what we can go from there. And I think there was one other thing I wanted to bring up, but I can't remember what it was right now. So why don't we do our drawing now, and
Yeah, so it's just a random drawing of the people who registered for the Tour of Light. We had the most again this year, even out of cities. And Mel's is donating family pack to their holiday lights to the family. So it's better than a $25 gift card.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's very generous.
yeah,
it was great of them.
So,
those guys are always generous.
so
And they did a great job. That is incredible what they've done.
yeah,
Best lights I've ever seen.
yes.
It's amazing what they did.
So do you want to draw? And it's just an address. Some people like registered the neighborhood. Some put a street and no number if there wasn't an email, so I just put the ones in there who had
The location.
street
You
address.
can tell.
Make them a little bigger.
Oh, jeez.
7 Aldrich Street.
Oh, they won last year too. That's the Pedricks.
Nice job.
Okay, I will,
Check all the names in there.
Right, are they all
they
Aldrich
don't
Street?
register a name, but I know because I live on it.
I know, I'm just kidding.
So I'll reach out to Mel's and give them the address, but I gotta reach out to them first and find out how many adults, how many kids, and then they'll send them. That's funny, twice in a row.
That's just a
And
joke.
last year, she was surprised she registered, and this year she was surprised she registered, so.
Well, thanks for putting that together.
You're welcome.
You wish you could win the makeup this way, right?
Thank you to Mel's.
Mike's
Guys
been
are
doing
always,
pretty good.
always
over
very
there.
generous down there.
Yeah.
Do a great job.
Akamato, the owner, he's very good.
All right, and then we got emails coming up for December. Steve Weber is on it. I'm handling January, and then Peter has February. The next meeting date, we are skipping our last meeting in December because it's Christmas Eve, so our next meeting will be January 14th, followed by the 28th. believe that's it, unless anybody else has anything they wanna bring up. I'd say a motion to adjourn.
Make a
So
motion
moved.
to adjourn. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 700. Thank you very much. Have a great night and a Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Happy